welcome all of you all for our first session about strategic level case study, February 2019. So I'm trying to do a very quick review on the Preseen and trying to show you an approach that can be helpful for you to pass the exams. Now, after this first session today, we'll have another session to address your specific issues. You might have some specific issues to be discussed, and we will do that. And we will look at what are the possible issues based on the Preseen, based on the past papers for the February 2019 separately. So we will do those two sessions later off to address your concerns, answer your issues, and to discuss what are the possible issues based on the past papers, because irrespective of the industry, there are some questions that comes all the time. Irrespective of the industry, there are certain similar set of questions we see continuously. So we got to see what are the possible issues based on the past papers. At the same time, we got to see what are the possible issues based on the Preseen. That will be the third session. So you can join those two sessions as well. So I'm going to kind of start the discussion with the very basic understanding about the company that we are working with. So if you look at our organization, our company goes as Vita, right? So I will just highlight a few key things. We started in 2011. We are designers, and we of course outsource manufacturing. We do the designing by ourselves. Manufacturing is outsourced, but then we do the sales from our end. What we manufacture, what we design, manufacture, and sell are wireless enabled wearable technology. But wearable technology, as you would know, is a broader area. Where there are wearable clothing available, there are wearable shoes available. However, wearable technology attached shoes available. Here we are discussing in this particular organization on the activity and the fitness trackers. Activity and the fitness trackers. So that's the key area that we work on. That's the key area that we work on. So if I try to move on to the rest of the areas as we discussed, as we can see, you can see we are a listed company. We have not been paying dividends since we listed 2017. So be ready, since we listed ourselves recently, 2017. We might not really still used to this share price pressure. So share price pressure can be a bigger thing on the exam day. We got to be ready. Well, we are not paid. Dividend itself can be an issue that we may need to address at the beginning. That is something we may need to address at the beginning. We have been told that we are in the Northern Europe. So here a slide which is not from the Preseen, of course. We are trying to see what are the countries in that particular region in the real world. You can't locate a similar country, but you got to know what the features of Northern European countries are. So you will be able to manage things similar to that on the exam day. So this is very basic details about the organization. Then you got to know about who the real world companies are. Fitbit is a real world company, Samsung, Apple. There are many different companies that is available, including Nike, Adidas. So these are list that is given. Then you will be able to kind of get an idea about the individual companies. We think Fitbit is a company where we can see many similarities between our organization and Fitbit. However, we don't encourage you to only look at Fitbit. We don't, but it will be good for you to look at Fitbit story in a little bit more detail. So in our KYP, what you're looking at is the KYP now. We have given you the details about all the organizations, all the competitors available. But in the KYI, which is the Know Your Industry, in the KYI, which is Know Your Industry, we of course look at Fitbit in little bit more closer view on Fitbit, simply because we have seen many similarities available. So KYI is a document that is available where we would ask you to look at the details about the industry, like some of the slides that is included, history on the Fitbit, history on the fitness trackers. What do you mean by a fitness tracker? What is the history of fitness trackers? Who should be using it? Industry drivers, how do we categorize them? Hideables available, the applications available in the fitness trackers, 2018 best fitness trackers, the innovation in the industry. From the slide number 104, we have given you the Fitbit story. The reason why we have given you the Fitbit story is simply because we want, so that is slide number 104, we have given the Fitbit story simply because the similarities are there. So you got to see what happened to Fitbit, whether the same thing could happen to us on the exam day. So in that angle, we have given, and just to look at some of the examples, some of the things that happened to Fitbit, some of the things that happened to Fitbit, whether similar things could happen to us or not, right? Look at March 2013, what happened to Fitbit. London-based startup filed a low case against Fitbit for trademark, and the Fitbit eventually lost the trademark. So something that could happen to us, right? There are so many examples like that. Which you should be familiar, which you should be aware, because the similar issues might be there on the exam day. Look at March 2014, HTC, the Android smartphone maker, announced preloading of Fitbit's app on all its modules, or one category of smartphones. So these are the things that you might try to get done on the exam day. Obviously, these are the things that will have an impact for you on the exam day, because these are the good things that are happening, and to Fitbit, they could happen to us on the exam day. And if you want the bad things that is happening to Fitbit, and you got to be ready if that happens to you. Look at the slide number 113. We are talking about Fitbit Force was recalled. One of our product was recalled by the company. We had to recall the product. As many customers, around 9,900 customers, were reportedly affected by the skin irritation or rashes after wearing our tracker. So these are the negative things that could happen to us. And look at slide number 114, user information leaked. Although users did have the option of making their physical activity information private, you have the option to do that. Many users were unaware about it. Some such users were including details about their sexual activities in their exercise logs without knowing that their private information was available to public viewing. So the same thing could happen to us as well. So therefore, I want you to, whilst you look at different industry, different competitors available, I want you to concentrate on the Fitbit story a little bit more than the other companies, because you will see there are many similarities between those two. Well, we will try to show you what the similarities are, and you got to find out what the differences are as well. Look at the mission statements of the two organizations. Mission statement of our company. Look at the mission statement of our organization, and let's try to compare with the mission statement of Fitbit, right? Our mission statement goes as to design and deliver fitness and activity trackers. So we are here to design and deliver. You can always argue why not manufacturing parties there. Maybe because we have outsourced it, but we have the full control. We should have the full control. So we do design, manufacturing, and deliver. So mission statement goes as design and deliver fitness and activity trackers. So we design and deliver fitness and activity trackers that motivate of all ages and abilities to achieve their health and fitness goals. So our mission of the company is to help people to achieve their fitness goals. Our mission is to empower and inspire people. We got to inspire people to live healthier, to live healthier lives and make healthy choices through smart technology. Much broader concepts that is included in ours. Compare that with Fitbit. To empower and inspire you to live healthier. Very similar words, right? More active life. We design products and experience that fit seamlessly into your life so you can achieve your health and fitness goals whatever they may be. So there are many similarities available. We have given a list of similarities available for you to get a feel about it. Of course, we'll show you what the differences are as well. So you will get a better understanding about that. Now, since we were discussing about the industry, let me quickly go back to KYI. And show you some details about the market share. I think that's a critical area that we got to be aware of. Kind of how big the market is. I think you got to be aware of that. So I will give you a very quick brief about the market share. I might not even spend time to explain the slides, but I'll just show you the basic things that you got to be aware. You can see how a smartwatches market is growing and how that is critical, and the different market share. So few key details about the future. So these are comparison. These are research done about 2017 to 2023. You will see huge growth in iOS, huge growth, and look at 2003 is the first line that you see. 2017 is the second line that you see. You will notice the gap is becoming bigger and bigger in the smartwatches category, not in the fitness band category. But the smartwatches category is going to be much bigger by 2023. So this is about the fitness tracker market by sales channel, offline and online. Again, you will see where the market is moving. I'm sure you'll be able to get a great understanding about where the market is moving based on this. Just to tell you something interesting, if you have gone through our deep dive, we have worked out these numbers again. What do you mean we have worked out these numbers again? In the Preseen, we have been told what our market share is. In the Preseen, we have been told what our market share is. Our market share, including smartwatches, is 10%. Very similar to the Fitbit market share as well. Anyway, my point is, in the Preseen, we have been told what our market share percentage is. And of course, in the Preseen, we have the financial data about our organization. Therefore, you will be able to calculate the market share details for the industry that is given. You will be able to calculate that. So that is something that we want you to work it out. So you get a kind of a better understanding about our market size and to see how ready we are for the future, how ready we are for what it's going to come. So that is something that we got to be ready in overall angle. So I'm now trying to move into our deep dive. So you will be able to get an understanding about how this market share calculations can be done. Till I get the deep dive coming in for us. Let's spend maybe about 2 minutes, maximum 2 minutes, of a video about how Fitbit market how Fitbit market their products, and this video is partly about the untold story about Fitbit. So this is one of their videos. We'll go into the video now, and after we watch the video, we will certainly come back to the deep dive and look at what we wanted to look at from the deep dive. After the video, we'll come back.
Data, but things like the Fitbit, not covered. In one case, a San Francisco cyclist had GPS data from a fitness tracking app he was using taken as evidence in a known vehicular manslaughter trial. The data was used to help prove he was at the incident in question and going above the area speed limit, and he was ultimately convicted. Fitbits, like pretty much every other smart device you carry with you every day, are constantly collecting data about you and your life, and your every move is recorded when you're wearing one of those things. All this goes to show that info just isn't as private as you'd probably like to think. On the other hand, Fitbits can also be used for good. That's the whole point, right? Lifesaver. In 2016, one man's Fitbit literally saved his life. When he was admitted to a hospital in New Jersey with an irregular heartbeat, doctors weren't sure what was up. Was it a chronic problem or one brought on by a seizure? If they treated the wrong condition, he could die. And if they didn't treat him, so they grabbed his Fitbit and his phone, looked up his recent history and heart rate, and were able to do the right thing and save the man's life, resetting his heart rate with electrical cardioversion. The case made it into the annals of emergency medicine, giving doctors reason to take note of the life-saving potential of the Fitbit in a whole new way. Then again, no one, doctors included, should think the Fitbit is an infallible piece of technology. Case in point, Heartbreaker. In 2016, Fitbit was hit with a class action lawsuit claiming that the heart rate tracker was imprecise, and dangerously so. According to some claims, Fitbits were anywhere from 25 to 78 beats per minute wrong. Fitbit answered, saying that they stand by their technology as is and are prepared to go to court to defend it, adding, Fitbit trackers are designed to provide meaningful data to our users to help them reach their health and fitness goals, and are not intended to be scientific or medical devices.
So basically, that's a view that Fitbit took when the legal case was there, and that is something, again, that we got to be prepared as well. By the way, we are not kind of telling you to look at Fitbit only, look at everything else as well, but you will see many similarities. We have a list of similarities as well to get a rough idea about these two organizations. Anyway, now I was able to take the deep dive to the screen now. So here we have been given details in the Preseen. In the Preseen, we were given details about the sales, right? So let's look at the details that was given in the Preseen again. So here I hope you can see market share details are given excluding smartwatches and the including smartwatches. Excluding smartwatches and the including. So see 2018, our market share without smartwatches was 22%, but when you put the smartwatches in, we only have 10% of it. Look at 2015, we had 14.5 excluding smartwatches, and 2015 we had 14.5 excluding smartwatches. Including smartwatches, we had 14. See, the gap is very narrow. In 2015, gap is very narrow. Even in 2016, excluding smartwatches, we had 18%. When you include smartwatches, we had only 15. So there was a 3% gap only. But look at today, 2018, there is a 12% gap. We have 22% of the market share when you count excluding smartwatches, but when the moment that you include smartwatches, our market share comes down to 10%. The same number for Fitbit as well anyway. This shows the growth of smartwatches. Now, since we have our market share, then we have the sales figure for us. What we did here was we calculated, of course, certain assumptions were made. We calculated what is the total market share, including smartwatches and excluding smartwatches. So look at 2018 numbers. 40 billion, including smartwatches, excluding 18 billion, which makes it 21 billion market out of 40 billion for smartwatches. And for 2017, similar numbers would be 12 billion for smartwatches market compared to the compare the total market, including smartwatches, to be 29. So this shows us how big the impact coming from, this shows how big the impact coming from the smartwatches are. So we got to go into that. So in the deep dive, few things to be highlighted, just very few things to be highlighted. We will not spend a lot of time on the deep dive with you today because we just want to highlight few key things and then move ahead. I think the company information part, we said it's better if we can focus ourselves as a company in digital healthcare industry rather than the consumer electronic industry. So that is a move that even the Fitbit took in the past. So that is something that we should be taking as well. Right? Now, looking at the other information about it. So these are some of the other key things that I would like to highlight. What is given in the mission statement, what is given in the vision statement, and looking at the issue is compounded by the fact that most of okay, look at this point number 3. I think that's important. What is underlined, and page number 5, point number 3, what we have underlined here. This issue is compounded by the fact that most of the popular smartwatches are manufactured by specialized smartphone manufacturers like Apple and Samsung. And these companies ensure much smoother operations between their smartphones and the smartwatches. Hence, it would not be an easy task for fitness and activity tracker manufacturing company to produce competitive smartwatches. So even though smartwatches market is growing rapidly, for us to go into that market, because we are a fitness tracking company, we are manufacturing a fitness tracker. We do manufacture the software for it, but we don't have a phone company behind, like for Apple and Samsung. So that is an area that we will struggle. So that is a challenge that is available that we will need to address. That's a challenge available that we will need to address. And we are depending on Apple and Samsung to a great extent because we have an app for our software loaded for their phones. So that is something that we will need to work on as well. Now in this document, one more point, or rather 2 points, and we will move on to the next area. Forex, foreign exchange risk management, is very much a likely area. That is in the P3 part of the syllabus now. From 2020, it will move on to the F3 part of the syllabus. But as at now, it's available in P3. Anyway, it's testable for the strategic level case study. And we have given some data just to show you how frequently this has been tested in the past. So therefore, we have done a separate pack for you. What are the questions that might be coming in to your exam paper from the F3 areas or from the financial areas? So financial areas will basically include things like cost of capital, financial risk management, foreign exchange risk management, interest rate risk management. That's a critical area that we got to be aware of. So last point, I want you to read this document. We have given you 15 recommendations for Vita. So there are 15 recommendations coming in. These are heavy document, and I want you all to read this document carefully, slowly, because the document includes many key points. So therefore, you got to read our free copy of the deep dive. First part is given free for all of you all, and I want you to carefully read it. Now, I would like to look at this industry from slightly a different angle. The success of the exam is you being able to look at things from many different angles. Success on the exam day is coming from that, and coming from being able to do at least 7 mock papers with different difficulty levels from different areas with different concentrations. And when you practice yourself on our exam engine to do those mocks, on the exam day, whatever the different questions comes or difficult questions comes, you have developed the skills of managing them. So those are the two success areas to pass the exam. So I'm trying to work on how do we look at this industry slightly differently to give a different perspective. This is what I think about this industry. One of the biggest problems in the world, developed world, bigger problem in America than anywhere else, the obesity levels and the diabetes. So all of us have a duty to ensure, we do something about them, individually and as a country. Now, walking as an exercise is given as the best solution for that. That is, without a doubt, given as one of the best solutions available. So, which means walking is a great exercise, which means everyone shall try to walk. But what's the purpose? For you to get the best out of walking, you got to measure your walk. So, which means you got to measure your step count. You got to measure the speed that you walk. You got to measure the distance that you walk. So we need to, unless we measure that, we will not be able to improve it. Unless we measure that, we will not be able to improve it. So we need a technology to ensure that we can measure our walk. So this is our company is one of the companies in the world. Our industry is the solution for that. So that is one perspective about our industry. So therefore, don't forget, you have a bigger duty than counting steps. That is what I wanted to highlight. Don't think we are a step counter, or don't think we as a company who is providing information for the people to take decisions. No. Our duty will end only when people become healthier. So our duty is not just to say, have you walked 10,000 steps? How many kilometers? How many calories burned? That is not our duty. Our duty will end only when people become healthier, because that's the global issue available. And being an activity and fitness tracking company, we clearly got to do something about that bigger problem available. And I'm sure we have an ethical duty to ensure that we help people to be healthier. So that is coming from the ethical part of it. But look at our mission statement. Our mission statement has clearly accepted that we got to do something about this bigger problem. We got to ensure people become healthier. So this is my first angle about the industry. My second angle is, don't forget, we do two items. We manufacture two items. One is the physical fitness tracker. Secondly, the software included into it. First one is the physical fitness tracker, which you can wear. Then we do develop a software to be included into it. Now, these two products tells me two different stories. What are your capabilities for you to manufacture a proper physical fitness tracker? Well, that capabilities are coming on what points? I mean, what's the color of the fitness tracker? What is the shape of it? What is the size of it? How big the display is? What are the colors? And what is shown on the display? What is the font size type? All those are coming from the fashion industry. So my physical fitness tracker, my knowledge should come from the fashion industry. It should come from the accessory industry. We got to ensure we develop attractive, nice looking, great looking product where people would love to wear. So that is something coming from a different capabilities of ours. So we got to see whether we are capable of delivering that great looking, nice physical product of ours. I will give you in the deep dive we have given, or deep dive part 2 or part 1 we have given. Males, females, percentages for different types of products and different type of companies. Then you will notice certain products will be decided not only based on the capability of the software, but on how great the physical item is looking. So that is second angle of mine. So first angle is avoid diabetic and the obesity in the world. What is our role? Secondly, are we ready to be a fashion accessory design maker? The third is how strong we are in information technology, how strong our softwares are, how accurate our softwares are, what is the research and development expenditure to develop new products and new softwares. The fourth angle is the social behavior. It is shown based on the research. We can show you some of the research available. We will share some of those research when you join the course as well. It is clearly shown after people buy a fitness tracker. First 1 month, people use it, but there is a higher percentage of the people who will discontinue using the fitness tracker after the 30 days. So there's a social impact having on us. We got to do something about it. And what is the other social behavior matter that is available? People would like to these days share their achievements on Facebook. People would like to share pictures on the birthday parties, the trips on social media. Similarly, people would like to share that they have walked 12,000 steps today. So that's the social behavior. So we got to have a team internally within our organization who study the social behavior and do a product to match to that. You should be able to, from your phone, when you look at the step count using the software, when you walk 10,000 steps, there should be just one button which we can click where we can share this news on the Facebook. Otherwise, we are not understood the real social impacts of it. People are addicted to Facebook. People are addicted to WhatsApp. Will people be addicted to our activity tracker? Will people be addicted to our fitness tracker? Again, a social impact that we need to consider. How can we get people to use our tracker continuously? How can we get them to be addicted to it? That's the social side of it that I would like to concentrate. So there is a duty to reduce obesity and diabetics, for people to walk more. Then there's the accessory side of it, fashion industry part coming in. Then there is a technology part coming in. Then the human behavior part coming in. The next one is data. We collect so much of data about individuals. We collect so much of data about countries. So the privacy of data becomes a threat to us. I'm sure you have seen the video where there are legal cases against fitness tracking companies. And we have so much of data. How can we analyze them and give a better service for our customers? So those are the different areas I would like to concentrate and I would like to see the industry on. So as the last part, it's critical for you to do many mock papers as possible. This will be a direct help for you to pass the exam. And you got to realize exam questions are not very straightforward and clear all the time. The question, it looks like examiner has a very straightforward question, and then examiner will do things to make it not very straightforward, try to make it little vague, try to make it little confusing, because in the real world, the questions that you get from your boss in an email might not be that straightforward. So you got to be ready to manage questions that are not very, very straightforward, questions that are not very, very clear. So that is a skill that you got to develop as we go on. That's a skill that you got to develop. So look at I'm just looking at mock number 1, section number 2. Look at this. Currently, both contract manufacturers are functioning in the full capacity. We were told that in the Preseen. Now we are trying to look in at whether we should manufacture, whether we should have our own manufacturing plant. We are looking at the options of having our own manufacturing plant. In order to further assess the implication of opening our own manufacturing plant, I would like for you to highlight the sources of finance that are available for us should the board decide to go ahead with the opening of Vita's own manufacturing plant. When you suggest methods, please take into consideration the purpose, why we are trying to collect funds, and the amount we will need as well. So examiner is telling me what are the sources of finance. The question does not end there. So it is not like a typical exam question where there's a question given, question mark given, and you need to answer. In the paragraph after the question, there are other statements coming in which should have a direct impact into your answer. I'm asking you to consider the amount that we need to borrow and the purpose. So no details given about the amount. That is where we try to see how practical you are in deciding what kind of amounts that are needed and how the financing method will have an impact on the reasons where we are going to use that money. So these are the type of questions you will be seeing. Now look at the last paragraph of this. Whilst all discussions regarding the location of the new manufacturing plant were going on, we felt a bit of resistance from one of the directors with regard to opening the new manufacturing plant in the country, except in the country where present two manufacturers are. This is coming in because one of our directors feel the training employees in a new country would be a challenge for us. Now look at the exam requirement. Exam requirement is, I do feel she has a valid point of concern here. Please do include your thoughts on how best we can implement an effective training for our employees in the new country. I want your thoughts of how we can implement an effective training program in the new country. Now, the question further continues. It looks like after the question, but it has a direct impact. So questions are not very straightforward. There are some vague part attached to it. We are not decided the country yet. So I would require you to give me general points that can be applicable for any new country that we go into. Your suggestion should give our team some idea about designing good training plan where they will be comfortable that it can be done. Which means what? Which means what? Your senior finance, which means what? Your board wants you a report of the best way to manage an effective training program in a new country, but board wants some positive views in that email. So our teams will be comfortable, okay, yes, training can be managed. So your tone of the question has to be based on this. Your tone of the question has to be based on this. So I'm just trying to show you a few questions just to tell you the questions are not clearly straightforward, right? So I will not go into further questions on that, but this is our first review. There are a few things that you got to be aware. I hope you are aware of technology acceptance model. The technology acceptance model is a model that is applicable for our industry. So there is an article on that which you shall read. Of course, we will try to do a video on that again, audio on that again at least. because when the new technology comes in for the people, there's a model that explains the speed within which people will get adopted to new technology. We call it TAM, Technology Acceptance Model. That is something that we should try to go through as well. So I will end the first video now. I will end the first discussion now. I will end the recording now. Second, there will be another live session happening. You can join for that. Please send us an email at info@nanaska.com. Send an email to info@nanaska.com. Then they will tell us they will tell you all the timing of the second session. So second session is where I will talk for about 45 minutes, further details about the case study and the industry. Then you can ask questions. The third one would be on what the possible issues are based on the past papers and based on the Preseen. So I'm Channa Gunawardana from Nanaska. You can see the details of Nanaska at www.nanaska.com. And please don't forget to send us an email and register for the second live session. Thank you very much. All the very best.